Come on, let's get the applause going. Let's get the applause going.
Belated.
I'm sorry, the applause sign broke. I'm sorry.
It's a
Belated applause.
big show. We need the applause. Wait, here's why it's a big show. Here's why. Hang on, I'm going to explain why it's a big show. First of all,
because one of the 3 movies that we're going to talk about, neither of us has seen.
but there's a reason why we haven't seen it.
No, very good reason.
A very good reason, and one that you will enjoy hearing about.
Oh, it's
also,
priceless.
hang on, we also have a very special guest.
Yes.
Michele Melean is here from MTV. And she had recommended Blazing Saddles as you try this at home.
Yes.
She's going to be here, sitting right here, explaining to us why she loves the film. That's coming up later. Right there. There'll be a chair. And
Oh,
she'll
there will
in
be
the
a chair. Okay.
Yes, that's what'll happen.
Because there's no chair, that's a problem.
But there will be a chair soon.
Okay.
I guarantee it.
All right.
Now, it was a tragic week, Wade. Before we get to all that stuff,
The oil spill.
not the oil spill.
No?
They say that death comes in threes, Wade.
Yes.
Dennis Hopper,
Yeah.
Gary Coleman,
Yeah.
Rue McClanahan.
Yeah.
Now, I was looking up Gary Coleman's credits right
We
before
shouldn't
we
laugh.
started. We really
Out of
shouldn't laugh.
respect, we shouldn't laugh.
No, he was in like Father Like Santa.
Yes.
Because I figured it's a movie show. We should talk about the films he did. Like Father Like Santa. And
Different Strokes the Motion Picture?
no, you know
actually,
what?
they never did Different Strokes the Motion Picture.
He once got a writing credit for different. He has one writing credit for Different Strokes. What did he write?
What you talking about?
He wrote that.
He
That
wrote
was his
that.
signature
That was
line.
it, yeah.
Quite a talent. No, seriously, a very tragic death. Rue McClanahan, basically, except for
Rue
Betty,
McClanahan just today. Leaving
Now,
Betty White the only surviving Golden Girl.
You know what? It makes me think it's murder.
Yeah.
It makes you think it's murder. Somebody is killing the Golden Girls. We've got somebody call Macmillan and wife. We've got to figure out who's killing the Golden Girls.
McMillan and wife.
That is a reference. That is a reference that is going to escape almost everyone watching this show.
Somebody
Thank
call
you for
Jake and the
dating
Fat
us.
Man.
I love that the pre-show meeting was, all right, let's just burn through the beginning real quick and get to the...
Yeah, okay.
When Mike says pre-show meeting, he means in the kitchen over spaghetti.
Well,
That's
what
he
happens
means.
on
No
the
pre-show
message
meeting.
boards, now I'm going to extend it out. On the message boards, people like that the show goes long. They enjoy listening to you guys talk, so I'm like, well, if we cut the beginning a little bit and then nonsensical talk and just get to the reviews and get to the buy, rent, or burn.
Well, let's get to it.
This
People
weekend in
love it.
movies, let's do it, cue it.
By the way, J-Mac isn't here. Not going to waste more time. Emily is running the TriCaster.
Yeah,
Emily!
do it.
Again, thank you to New Tech and Philip TriCaster for giving us this amazing machine.
And I do
Philip
just want to say,
at New Tech TriCaster.
7 days and under 11 hours to go till World Cup. Right there, baby.
Okay.
Go Lakers. Nothing to do with
This
World
is why
Cup.
the show goes over an hour.
Exactly. Never mention soccer here again.
Or basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we have 3 films to talk about.
Yes, we
only
do.
2 of which we've seen. Now, should we talk about Killers now, or should we wait till? You want to talk about it now?
Wait.
No,
Wait, you
no,
wanna
no,
wait?
No, no,
You wanna
wait.
do it now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's
we're
wait.
gonna wait.
Yeah,
okay.
we'll wait.
Yeah,
We'll wait.
let's go to the big movies.
Okay,
We'll
now the
go
big one this
Killer.
week. The big one this week, I believe,
Yes.
in my opinion, as a host of the show.
Yes.
Because I sit in the chair.
I know.
Emily not sitting in the chair.
No, Emily running the TriCaster.
Running the TriCaster.
Without her, yeah. Without her, we're nothing. You're you see movies.
Yeah.
You know what? I've
I gotta be honest. Emily's more important to me right now than you.
I've been
Yeah.
called worse. Okay, so Get Him to the Greek.
Get Him to the
Wade,
Greek.
Tell us about Get Him to the Greek.
Get Him to the Greek is exactly the same movie as Funny People, only with a rock star instead of a comedian. Should we run a clip?
Let's run a clip.
You guys.
Come on, mate. You know, open up.
It seems as if on your last album, you kind of went in the studio and just did whatever the producer asked you to do.
Right. Yeah, no, that's exactly. This is good.
It's just, you know, every artist just has one album that's just not good, and that's it. Honestly, I listen to that and I'm just like, what was he thinking?
In future, if someone asks you to give them a critique of their work, don't rip out their gizzards and hold it in front of their face. What are you? What do you know?
I'm sorry, look, I don't know what I'm talking about.
What you did was very spiteful, but it was also very brave and very honest, and I respect you for doing that, but the content of what you said has made me hate you. So there's a layer of respect, admittedly, for your truthfulness, peppered with hate. Hateful respect.
Now, that exact scene, didn't we see Seth Rogen and Adam Sandler do that in Funny People? That exact scene, only here it's Russell Brand and Jonah Hill. And the story here basically is Jonah Hill works for a record company run by P. Diddy, Sean Combs, actually very funny in his first kind of comedic role. And he suggests the idea that maybe to boost their reputation and sales and so forth, that they schedule a 20-year anniversary concert with this British rocker played by Russell Brand, who's had a really, really bad run of late, and he's been sober, and then he got back on the wagon, and he's off the wagon, and he's completely messed up. So Jonah Hill gets the job to fulfill his recommendation. He has to fly to London and get this rocker back to Los Angeles to perform at the Greek Theater in time. And of course, it turns into a big nightmare having to make the trek. Ultimately, it's another one of those Judd Apatow factory films. He didn't write or direct this one, but he put his name on it, and it's all his people. And the character is created by Jason Segel, which is kind of weird that Jason Segel created the characters and then someone else kind of took the idea and ran with it. But it's one of those movies where you have two people who don't get along, and they each have a void in their life, and by the end of the movie, each one feels fulfilled for having found the other.
That's what it is. The movie,
and they're all like that.
Well, the movie is sort of it's a quasi-sequel to Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Now, Russell Brand...
There's a funny little reference in it to Sarah Marshall as well, yes.
Right. So the thing with these Apatow films, and we had talked last week about how Jerry Bruckheimer is one of the only producers who is a brand.
Yes.
When you hear a Jerry Bruckheimer film, you know what you're getting. Judd Apatow is the same. With Judd Apatow, you get pop culture references, you get manufactured heart, you get a lot of bro bonding,
yeah.
you get a lot of gross out humor, and you also get films that are about 20 minutes too long.
And this one is.
And this one, like all the Apatow films, they're all too
long.
long. And the film definitely has some funny moments. There's a lot of lag in it, and I was a little disappointed in a couple things. One is that writer-director Nick Stoller's conception of the rock and roll lifestyle is pretty unimaginative. It's just sex and drugs and alcohol, and then more sex and drugs and alcohol. And the thing is that once you have Jonah Hill in an airport trying to stick a balloon of heroin up his butt, those sorts of jokes lose their je ne sais quoi 10 years down the line from the first Judd Apatow film. They're really not that funny anymore. There's really no other place for these movies to go. They go in the place you expect them to go.
It feels to me more like a series of jokes, some of which are very funny, admittedly. There are some really genuinely hilarious moments in here, and Sean Combs is really funny.
He is funny.
He's the best thing about this movie. But it feels like they had the moments, and they weren't quite sure how to string them together. You said there's lag. There's some really heavy lag in there. I mean, you would expect a film like this to really, really, really build some sense of anticipation as they're getting to the date, and it tries to do it. Number of hours and minutes until we have to do sound check. Number of hours and minutes until the show. But did you ever feel the tension? Like, oh my gosh, are they going to make it?
Not only didn't I feel the tension, but I have to disagree, because not only did I not feel the tension, but I didn't get the feeling that either character needed the other to learn whatever it is they had to learn.
Well,
Jonah Hill.
That's the thing.
The Jonah Hill character has a girlfriend who wants to move them to Seattle so that she can pursue her doctor career.
Yeah.
So basically, that's all he has to learn, is to get back with his girlfriend. It's not that interesting.
To appreciate her.
To appreciate her. That's really it. There's not much at stake for him.
Yeah.
For Aldous Snow, played by Russell Brand, he's just got to get his life back on track and get to this concert on time. And the thing with these Apatow films also is that the ones that I like the best, they have a satirical hook that they hang the film on.
Yeah.
Local news in Anchorman, or NASCAR in Talladega Nights, or country music in Walk Hard.
40-year-old virgin, Knocked Up, both dealing with very, very relevant social issues.
And here you have what you're hoping would be some sort of a knowing spoof of the music industry, the rock industry, the rap industry, when it's really not like that at all. There is a funny bit at the beginning.
Yeah, the opening is very, very funny. There are moments along the way. The end isn't that bad, actually. The end is actually fairly amusing. It just doesn't quite hang together all that cogently. But, that said, I didn't dislike it. I was never necessarily bored, despite the lags. I just, at times, thought, get on with it already. And the thing is, even once they get to Los Angeles, that's the weird thing. I mean, there's about another 25 minutes to go, even once they arrive in Los Angeles. And then there's that weird interlude that involves all three of them.
Yes.
And that goes on forever. And the movie comes to a grinding halt at that point.
Because that's the point where...
You could have lost that whole scene.
Well, but that's the point, and again, it's not... It
would have taken 10 minutes out of the movie.
Well, it's malformed, but that's the point where the Jonah Hill character is expected to appreciate his girlfriend through that act.
Yeah,
And the thing is that
Chasing Amy has the same problem, ironically. The exact same scene and the same problem. And
That's right.
without going into details, but it's the exact same scene and the same problem, and it's kind of a cop-out.
That's true. So
Yeah.
of all the, and here's just one thing before we move on to Micmacs. Russell Brand. Now, Russell
Not
Brand
a fan.
is relatively new in the States. He's obviously a big presence in Europe.
Yeah.
He's going to be starring in the remake of Arthur, taking on the Dudley Moore role. And I was not a big fan of Russell Brand going in. I warmed up to him a little bit here, only because I felt as if he was more credible with the serious stuff than I thought he'd be, which is not to say he's a great actor, but I thought, not knowing much about him going in,
Yeah.
I thought the guy was just a total joke. The guy's just a total goof. But with some of the heavier stuff, I felt as if, okay, maybe with some training and do some more films where he's got to carry a bit more of a load, maybe he could do it.
Not a lot of range there, though.
No, he's basically, you know what it is? The thing with him is that he has a
He's
certain...
not going to be playing Lenny anytime soon.
Well, because he has a certain persona, and there's not a lot of wiggle room
Yeah.
within that persona.
Yes.
He's tall and he's lanky, he's built to be bad, and that's it. So he's got to make that work for him throughout his whole
So what
career.
you're saying is Rhys Ifans has a very safe career.
Yes, Rhys Ifans, who's a very funny actor, who's terrific.
Brand's not going to be challenging him for any roles anytime soon.
That is correct.
Yep.
So we'll say this: Get Him to the Greek, not that great, but again, if it's Friday or Saturday night, you could probably do a lot worse,
You could.
right?
Yeah, seriously.
Do a lot worse.
It's,
Look at that.
It's funnier than MacGruber. Yeah?
You know what? I would say it's funnier than MacGruber.
Yeah.
And we didn't hate MacGruber.
No, we didn't hate
MacGruber
MacGruber.
completely bombed, and a lot of people did hate MacGruber.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's saying.
Here's the thing: just because the movie bombs doesn't mean it's not funny.
No. People I know said they walked out of MacGruber, who would have liked MacGruber. like
MacGruber,
Saturday Night
again,
Live.
what I said about MacGruber was it's 10% really funny and 90% trying too hard. And there are a lot of places in that 90% where you can
All
find
right,
a
so if
space
there's
to walk out.
somehow a movie theater still playing MacGruber, there's not. Choose this movie over it.
Yes, I would
Yes.
definitely say choose
Yes.
this movie
You
over
go in
MacGruber.
a
Yes.
theater, there's two movies playing.
Absolutely.
All right, got it.
All right, so that's Get Him to the Greek.
Yes.
Now, next, Micmacs.
Patty whack, give a dog a bone.
He's been waiting a week to say
Wow.
that
I have.
stupid-ass joke. Now, just
Really?
stop it. Micmacs is the new film from Jean-Pierre Jeunet,
Yes.
the French filmmaker.
Formerly of partnership with Jeunet and Caro when they did Delicatessen and City of Lost Children. Yes, Delicatessen.
We confused Corey. Okay, so before we talk about the film, let's take a look at a clip.
Yes.
Ils ont changé la serrure. Oh, pas dis donc, t'as voulu trop coiffer avec un ouvre-boîte?
Mes affaires, elles sont où?
Au début à la cave. Mais tu connais les gens d'ici. Au bout de 3 jours, il n'y avait plus que les chaussettes dépareillées.
Bien, ce bonnet.
Now that's Danny Boone there, who actually was a late-ending replacement for another actor.
Interesting.
You know, so he came
Yeah.
on, and he does a fine job.
Well, and not a shabby replacement, but we'll get into that in a moment.
Now, in the film, you know, a Jean-Pierre Jeunet film, as you know, very well shot, production design is very Gilliam-esque
Through the
in its
roof.
production design.
Kind of
And-
always that goldeny green hue.
That's right, and
Yeah.
very fantastical. Now, in this one, Danny Boone plays a guy who's, and this all happens in the prologue, so I'm not giving much away. Danny Boone plays a guy whose father is killed in 1970 when he steps on a landmine
In Africa.
in Africa. And then the Danny Boone character grows up to work at a video store where he is shot in the head during a shootout. So basically, there's a very funny scene where the doctor actually has him on the operating table and flips a coin as to whether or not he's going to let him live or not.
Yeah.
So he decides to let him live with a bullet in his head. So now you've got a guy whose father died by stepping on a landmine. The son, Danny Boone, has a bullet lodged in his head permanently that can kill him at any moment. And then he winds up homeless, no place to go, and he winds up falling in with this group of scavengers who live in this fantastical sort of cave that's very
It's like
steampunkish.
It's a junkyard cave.
It's a junkyard cave.
They built an igloo out of junk.
So then in the film, and this of course sets up the rest of the movie, he winds up finding the two competing munitions companies who created the landmine and created the bullet that shot him in the head.
Across the street from each other.
They're across the street from each other. And so the film is all about Danny Boone's character and these people getting together to sort of get some sort of revenge on these two competing munitions companies that sort of together ruin this kid's life. And what you like about the movies, what you like about all these Genet films, which is that they look fantastic, they sound fantastic, there's just a great look, great music, the old school Max Steiner music in this film, which is just a great choice. What I was a little less enthusiastic about was the film is a bit of a departure for Genet because it's a little real. There's a certain amount of realism in it. I mean, we're not talking about this fantastical fairy tale love story like Amelie, right? We're not talking about the futuristic delicatessen thing. This is a movie that really tries to take on, in its own little way, you know, munitions companies and war and all that stuff. And I don't know that Genet really put those two together.
And I almost wish it had had more of that.
Wait a minute, you agree with me?
Well,
I was girding for a fight.
No, because I'm actually not that fond of the film, to be honest. Danny Boone, I'm a huge fan of. Now, a lot of people may not be familiar with Danny Boone. Danny Boone is an enormously successful French stand-up comic. Hugely successful, like George Carlin successful, Richard Pryor successful. He was previously seen here only in My Best Friend, which is a Patrice Leconte film with Daniel Auteuil about a guy who, you know, Daniel Auteuil is a guy who has no best friend, and so he tries to get this cabbie played by Danny Boone to, you know, help him discover what friendship is. And not a real funny role. Danny Boone then went on to write and direct his own film called Welcome to the Ch'ti, which is about a postal worker who gets relocated to the north of France where they have this ridiculous accent, which became the all-time most successful French film in history. It blew Titanic out of the water year before last. It was a phenomenon in France. So getting Danny Boone in this movie is a huge coup because he's on the heels of Ch'ti, which has been bought for remake rights here by Will Smith. That's an enormous, enormous thing to have him in your movie. He's now one of the biggest stars in France. But that said, he's not at his best in this movie. The whole thing feels to me like a little bit of style over substance. It's very much in kind of a Tim Burton realm here. And I love Genet. Normally, I just think the world of his movies. But they have gotten progressively less interesting for me since Amelie. He had that horrible interlude when he came to the United States and he did the Alien film, which was just a disaster. Horrible. And went back to France, made Amelie, which is just charm through the roof. And
very long engagement.
Very long engagement, which is a little dodgy, has its moments. But here, I just feel like the substance of it isn't really worked out. There's sort of a lot of ideas floating around, but not a lot of real execution. I thought, boy, you know, there's really something he could do here with these two munitions companies and the idea of armaments, but it still felt almost like sketch deep, you know, sketch comedy deep.
I agree. Actually, I'm surprised.
And enough already. Enough already with the carnival freak people. You know, we got to move away from that. Dominique Pignon shows up in all these movies as this freakish dwarf character, and I'm tired of that. Dominique
Pignon in a Genet film is like John Ratzenberg in a Pixar film. That's like the good luck charm.
Or like Ron Howard's brother in any of his movies. He's the troll who comes in from the side.
Oh, Clint Howard?
Yeah.
He is a sad, ugly
man. That is a creepy thing. Okay.
Oh, no, but here's the thing. That in the film, in order to get this revenge going, there are these very complicated plots. There are these complicated plans because everybody he meets in this little steampunk junkyard world has a very specific talent. Well, there's a contortionist.
It's like Ocean's 11 with circus freaks.
It really kind of is,
really what it is.
It really is. So you have these very complicated set pieces where they try to break into this place or break into that place.
And there's the contortionist lady and the dwarf guy and the this and the that.
And the guy who shoots himself out of a cannon.
The guy who shoots, then the guy who makes things out of nothing. And
But that stuff is terrific. The thing is that it's all on the surface of this sort of almost topically plot that seemed very thin.
It's very contrived to get you to the point of believing that they can pull off all of this manipulation with these two companies. It's a very, very contrived situation. And it's contrived so that Genet can play with the camera and play with the choreography. And it's charming on a certain very shallow level, but ultimately it doesn't work.
You know what? I actually agree, I have to say. Now, Wade, all this really has been just a preamble.
Absolutely.
To talk about killers.
Oh, we so want to talk about Killers. There it is. What a poster. I love that one sheet. Love that
great.
one sheet. It's so original. That's incredibly original. I mean, for a Katherine Heigl movie, I've never seen a one sheet like
What?
Oh,
But wait a second.
oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. You know, actually, come to think of it, but weren't both of these films directed by Robert Luketich?
What?
Oh, my. Well, hold on. I take that back.
Those posters say one thing, which is that we want women to see this film. That is a female skewing one sheet. That's what it is.
Any women in this room want to see
Just said,
either of those movies?
I cannot.
Worst album title ever.
I
for
cannot
Corey.
imagine two least likable people than Katherine Heigl and Ashton Kutcher. I hate them both. I want them both to go away and never
All right,
come
There we
back
go.
ever again.
That's fine. Now, did you like the movie that you saw?
Well, here's the thing. We didn't see the movie.
What?
What?
Hold on.
We didn't see the movie.
No one has seen the movie.
Yes, explain. Let's
No one
keep
has seen the
going
movie.
into it here.
Well, look, we've talked about this before, which is that they'll movies that they don't want the press to see, movies that they want to bury, they will either screen on a Thursday evening so that you can't make your press deadlines, or they'll screen it now Friday mornings as a courtesy screening, so that
This one screened?
Friday. This is going to screen Friday morning.
As we talk right now, nobody has seen it,
Right.
and it comes
No
out in
one.
5 hours.
No reviewers have seen this movie, and even Ebert
Nobody.
was on Twitter not believing that he could not even screen this movie.
Yep.
He was amazed, that
Yep.
tells you a lot. He can get any movie he wants.
That's
probably.
it.
He wants to see it, he wants to see it.
Yeah.
Yep, and we should point out, too, that there's an interesting backstory to what's going on. Lionsgate, the distributor of the film, has been engaged for over a year now in this horrible battle with Carl Icahn, who's one of the principal investors in Lionsgate, who's been trying to take the company over because he thinks it's run crappily. And Icahn is now in the process of getting into another hostile attempt to take over management of the company. And Lionsgate has $70 million in this movie. This may be the most expensive Lionsgate movie ever. They're normally known for making movies for $20, $30 million tops.
I mean, we're
Or
talking the Saw
acquiring
films.
movies.
The Saw films cost like $6
I
million.
mean, really prudent stuff. I mean, years ago when I talked to Tom Ortenberg, when he was running the company, that was a point of pride, which is studios spend too much on their movies. We make them for $20 million.
Well,
And
What cost $70 million?
$70
What cost $70 million in this movie?
so did it cost too much money for the critics to watch it?
I think
Not the case.
they
Not the
spent
case at all.
I think they spent an enormous amount of money on a movie that's clearly a dog, and now they've got Carl Icahn coming at them like an attack dog, and they're afraid that if there are any really bad reviews, that they are going to so tank the opening weekend that Icahn may actually pull it off.
It's actually very much like what happened with MGM, with the Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yes,
With Hot Tub
MGM.
Time, with MGM. MGM was on the block, and they were trying to hide Hot Tub Time Machine from critics because they didn't want bad press to further
Yep.
devalue MGM at a
Correct.
time when they were for sale.
Yes.
Now, Lionsgate is not for sale. It's Carl Icahn's trying to take over the company.
But this could really look. Just about a week or two ago, they prepared the severance packages for Lionsgate management because they're anticipating that Icahn may pull it off, and it may be because of this movie. So there's a lot hanging on this movie.
Here's interesting. Out to dinner last night, ran into Jason Antoon. I'll name drop. Who from Minority Report, and we did Vamped Out with him, and we were talking about how you guys were going to talk about that no critics were allowed to see this movie.
Yep.
Next to us, this woman goes, "Are you guys talking about Killers?" Yeah. I got to tell you, my boyfriend worked on the film in a big capacity. I'm not going to say what he did. She goes, "We had to go to the premiere, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, and nobody in the audience could even take it how bad it was." So, and she just overheard us. She was like a couple seats down. She goes, "I got to tell you guys, you are right. That's why." Because I'm like, "Yeah, I guess critics couldn't see it because it's so bad. That's what we're thinking."
But
and
here's
that was it. It's horrendous.
What makes this so comical is that normally studios, and most of the films that get what we call them Friday morning specials, right? Most of the movies that get a Friday morning special screening, they're horrible, and they're horror films, and they're dumb teen sex comedies, and the studio doesn't even try to hide that. They just say, "You know what? No point in letting you guys see this. Why bother? It's one of those movies." And no further discussion. Lionsgate is trying to sell this with the biggest hunk of BS you have ever heard in your lives.
Well, let's talk about Mark.
I have the BS right here.
Yeah, talk about what they're
This
trying
is
to do.
unbelievable.
Now, in the age of the internet, when this happens, audiences are smart enough to know that it means the movie's not good.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
funny because the studio spends so much time trying to hide the film that people are smart enough to know that if you're hiding the film, it means it's not good.
Yeah.
So Lionsgate is now running themselves into circles trying to justify why they're not screening it.
This is brilliant.
To an audience that at this point is just too smart now. They already know what's up. So this is the release, the Lionsgate press release, explaining why they are not screening the film for critics. This, by the way, not a joke. For that, we have Michele Melean coming on later. She'll bring the jokes. This, serious. We want to capitalize on the revolution in social media by letting audiences and critics define this film concurrently. In today's socially connected marketplace, we all have the ability to share feedback instantly around the world. In keeping with this spirit, Lionsgate and the filmmakers want to give the opportunity to audiences and critics alike to see Killers simultaneously and share their thoughts in the medium of their choosing. We felt that this sense of immediacy could be a real asset in the marketing of Killers.
It's a game changer.
It's a game changer.
It's a game changer.
It's a game changer. It's unbelievable.
Game changer.
So basically, they're claiming that they're not screening it because they want us as critics and you as regular people to enjoy together. We'll enjoy it together, and we will share together on the facing and the twitting together.
Where was that press release again?
You and I together, huh?
Where'd you get that press release from?
I stole it off the interweb.
But that was just from Lionsgate? That was Lionsgate press
This
release?
is a Lionsgate press
Okay.
release.
Yeah.
And then what about, wasn't there the Ashton Kutcher thing where he's going to sneak in? And,
Oh, he's
Ashton
gonna
Kutcher.
What's the BS?
he's gonna pirate
Yeah,
like the first
BS
13
marketing
minutes of
they're
the
trying.
movie. He's pirating because he is so hip.
Okay, can I say something? That guy is so, God, I want to strangle that guy. Okay, so he goes out there saying at the premiere, he's going to sneak a camera into the premiere and pirate the first 13 minutes and upload it. First of all, it's the premiere, he's the star, he ain't
His
pirating.
company produced the film.
He ain't pirating jack nothing. And,
Nothing.
He's the producer of the film.
And what really pisses me off is that we're in an age now when the studios actually want to stop people from pirating things. They don't want a cool guy like Ashton Kutcher to make it seem like pirating is cool. But the thing is that if Ashton Kutcher were to say we're going to sneak peek the first 13 minutes, that's not cool. Sneak peek, that's not cool. But if you pirate it, it's dangerous. You gotta pirate it, it's dangerous. It's cool with the kids, gotta pirate it. You know, it's just, God, I want to kill that guy.
All of you add all of this together, and it tells you how incredibly scared and desperate Lionsgate is about this movie. What I don't understand still is, you've got basically a plot that's the same as Mr. and Mrs. Smith, only clearly not as good, with a couple of very mediocre B-level television stars who've never opened a movie, either of them. Neither of them can open a movie. And you spend $70 million more than you've ever spent on any Lionsgate film on this, and you hire Robert Luketich, who just came off a bomb with Katherine Heigl, the same actress. Why?
What did
That's
they
the
spend?
Tom Cruise movie. Is that I saw the trailer.
Night and Day?
Night and Day.
And they look the same.
Yeah,
Well,
Night and Day looks a little in the same. Yeah, if you
But
if you have a
I trust James Mangold, and I do trust
Yeah,
Tom
absolutely.
Cruise more than I trust.
much more, and Cameron Diaz, for crying out loud. I mean, if you've got a, but look, Shrek and Charlie's Angels, she's opened films. She's been in big
sure.
films. Katherine Heigl, TV series.
The worst. These people are the worst.
I don't know. It's
Okay,
just,
so we haven't seen Killers, but we hate it anyway because we're those sorts of people.
whoever spent $70 million on this movie,
What did
fired.
they spend $70 million
Fired.
on?
Fired.
They just
Fired.
respect the audience.
They
They made
disrespect
District
you.
9 for $30 million. They spent more than twice as much on this.
Exactly. Makes
What?
no sense. So do me a favor. By the way, if you want to have seen Killers, I apologize in advance, but let us know what you thought.
Yeah, it'll be on
Why
the
not?
message
Oh,
board.
yeah.
We will have a Killers on this weekend on the stupidformovies.com. Say This Week in Movies on the message board. Please let us know what you thought of it. Or if you watch the we'll put the pirated version. We'll embed that.
that's
We're gonna
so
embed the pirated version. That's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be
Because
awesome.
it's cool. Because Ashton Kutcher, he punks people.
Oh, it's the worst.
That's
cool.
That's old school, man. He's serious now.
Okay, so hang on. We'll move on in a second. Killers, more or less than $10 million over the weekend.
Ooh.
More or less than 10.
I'm going to say 12.
12? That's not bad.
I'm going to say 12.
Really?
But if it makes 8, I'm not surprised.
Right. So that's a money loser for Lionsgate.
Oh, it's a
all right.
huge
So
money
basically,
loser.
we're talking Get Him to the Greek. That's the big one for the week. That's not
Yeah,
bad.
Not bad.
It's kind of funny.
Not bad.
So there you go. That's This Weekend in Movies, right?
That's it.
We just threw down the knowledge.
All right.
Okay. I'm not cool. All right. You know who's cool? Chad Vader with the news. Do it.
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up with the Empire Market this week?
I've been throwing up melons all day long.
Oh,
Throw them
wow.
out. They've gone bad.
Does that include Lee Marvin's head? Never mind.
Aww.
Didn't get that one. Better luck next time.
Ooh, look at that. All right, what's happening in the news here, Chad?
Well, there's lots happening. I'll tell you all about it right now. Transformers 3 has found a new actress to replace the recently ousted Megan Fox. Her name is Rosie Huntington Whiteley, an underwear model who has never acted in her life. So Transformers 3 is the perfect place for her to start. Victoria's Secret has congratulated Rosie with this borderline softcore porn congratulations video. Let's roll that, please. At the risk of sounding crude, I am currently undergoing a transformation of my own. In my pants.
Yeah.
I'd like to Huntington her Whiteley, if you know what I'm saying. Wow. But seriously, guys, you know what would really improve the Transformers franchise? No dialogue. It's totally unnecessary. We're not there for the shimmering wit and fancy repartee. We're not even there for a plot. What are we there for? Robots, explosions, and underwear models. So just stop writing the dialogue altogether. Listen to this sentence. A completely silent Shia LaBeouf performance. Now, don't those words just make you feel good?
Oh my God.
They do, actually.
They really do. Michael Bay is such a tool. The thing is that Transformers 2 made $875 squillion, and I don't know who saw this thing. A bunch of 13-year-old boys saw
I don't know.
it. I don't understand.
I don't either.
And, wait a second. Oh, you know what? We just fired a crew member for the very first time. We fired a crew member.
Wait till you see what he says about the try this at home, but we'll come back to that.
What? That's unbelievable. These movies are they're for 13-year-old boys and Josh. So it makes total sense that all he wants to do is just basically hire a piece of ass. That's it. Let's hire a piece of ass. You know, we'll throw into acting classes, hope for the best.
But at least she doesn't use magic markers for eyebrows. Right? Like Megan Fox.
Is that right?
Come on, Megan Fox. Holy cow, am I the only person?
You're the only person probably looking at her eyebrows. Could be.
Fine. It's hard to see anything else. It's like Groucho Marx's mustache over each eye. It's unbelievable.
Is that true?
Oh, take a look at her. The eyebrow, it's like these huge black lines.
Oh, you're being funny. I thought like she really took a magic marker
I'm
to her eyebrows.
being really sarcastic.
Huh?
I'm being really sarcastic. Corey, get on that.
Corey, make it still.
Corey, get on Megan.
Corey,
get a picture and, put some Groucho things on or something.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
All right, so there you go. So basically, Michael Bay said, let's just get the hottest girl in the movie, hope for the best. People are going to hate him no matter what he does. He knows that. So he'll just make a big, gigantic, loud, cacophonous piece of crap that millions and millions of teenage boys will see. And he'll be a hero to them, and the rest of us will hate it. And
But that's all he does. That's Michael Bay.
That's what he does.
Except for Ed. Again, he was a great commercial director, and he's just horrendous in movies. I mean, just horrendous.
The Rock wasn't bad, and I had some hope for a moment, and then everything just fell apart.
Exactly. All right, Chad, what else is going on?
After significant production delays, Guillermo del Toro has pulled out of directing The Hobbit. The very Hobbit-like director has stated that he will write the screenplay, but cannot direct because of scheduling conflicts. When asked what has it got in its pockets is, del Toro quietly slipped a ring onto his finger and disappeared from view. Peter Jackson might end up stepping in to direct. The Hobbit will actually be a 2-film saga, presumably so they have the time to cover all the content of the book, which, if memory serves me correctly, mostly consists of descriptions of meals and elf song lyrics. Get ready for that.
I have to say, Peter Jackson will direct, and here's why.
But there was some bad blood there for a moment with The Hobbit. I mean, he was not going to be involved with The Hobbit after that. There was a bit of a falling out with the studio.
That's true, but here's the thing. Right now, they have 2 years at least of pre-production money sunk into this thing. And the director's gone.
Yeah.
Right? I think that Peter Jackson will feel some not responsibility for the losses, but he will feel some pressure to come in there and save this thing as opposed to hiring Mick G to go do the Hobbit films, which would be terrible.
Somehow the MGM, this is also hostage to the MGM deal, right? Isn't that part of what the problem is here?
Well, there were a whole bunch of rights problems with the Hobbit, so they finally cleared all that up. So it took X number of months and millions of dollars to clear that up.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson and his partner, Fran Walsh, have been working on the script for X numbers of months.
With Guillermo del Toro.
With Guillermo del Toro for X numbers of months and millions of dollars. And I just think that Peter Jackson is going to feel a certain amount of pressure from the studio to step in and just do it.
It's too bad, because Guillermo would have really knocked this out of the park.
I mean, it
would have been wonderful.
I mean, there are certain, I guess there's the, Cuarón, I guess, could have done it, or a lot of those.
Tom Tickver, there are a lot of people who can do this kind of thing and do a good job of it, but...
But the thing is that right now, the reputation of the franchise, not the reputation, but the franchise has taken a bit of a hit.
Yeah.
So that next announcement, either cast or director, has got to reclaim that trust that the audience wants to have with the film version of The Hobbit.
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay.
Was there a 3D problem with this? I read somewhere, I thought that they were pressuring him to do it in 3D. And then,
you know what?
And then, like 2 weeks later, I was like, I'm not doing it.
Well,
but then about 3D, he didn't say anything about it. But I remember reading a couple weeks ago they were wanting to do it in 3D.
For Guillermo, the issue, as I understand it, is that it's taking so long, and he has spent so long on the script that he has other projects he wants to get around to. And, I mean, in all seriousness, not to be mean or anything, but Guillermo, I don't know how many years that guy has, because he's an enormous man. He is enormous. Seriously. Oh, he's like 400 pounds. And, I mean, he's a great director, but how many years and how many movies does he have in him? And I think he realizes he's got a limited career.
I think you might be right. All right, Chad, what else is going on?
Twitter has spoken. They want Donald Glover to be the new Spider-Man. Glover and his 33,000-plus Twitter followers have launched a campaign to get him an audition for Spider-Man using the hashtag Donald4Spider-Man. The campaign became a top trending topic on Monday night. When reached for comment, venerable character actor Danny Glover stated, quote, "What? Spider-Man? No, I'm far too old to play that role." Who told you that? I don't get it. No, I'm not on Twitter. Oh, wait, I think you're looking for Donald Glover. Yeah, I'm Danny Glover. Lethal Weapon. No problem, honest mistake. Okay, bye.
I like that was the one-sided phone call.
I would rather see Crispin Glover play Spider-Man.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Whoa, too soon.
Look, let me do the math here. 30,000 Twitter followers at one child ticket apiece. That's I don't know, $250,000.
Well,
you know what? They just nailed down.
Let's also, if for every 10,000 Twitter followers, 100 maybe listen and hit the link that you want them to hit.
Now, you know what?
So,
you know what? First of all,
other 90,000.
First of all,
forget it.
Forget
the
He's
Donald.
annoying.
It's great. He made
annoying.
the internet. God love him. Enjoy your 15 minutes. He ate in the goddamn movie.
But it worked for Betty White. This is how Betty White got on SNL.
Okay, do you really think?
You know what? Then get him on SNL.
No, I'm saying it's obvious that they're trying to. It's obviously just BS. But they're all now everybody. You're going to see this continuously since it worked for Betty White of all these petitions and Twitters.
That's
let's get
great.
this guy.
Let him host SNL, and then we'll be done with him.
That's it. All right, Chad. What do we got? One more, right?
One more. The MTV Movie Awards are happening this Sunday. comedian Aziz Ansari is hosting, which should give you an occasional reason to stop pressing fast forward on your TiVo remote. Here are some of the notable categories. Best Villain, Best Kiss, Best Fight, Best 3D Movie starring new actors, Best Wizard Performance by a Wizard Boy in a movie about wizards, Best Movie Ending in Twilight. And then, of course, there's the Justin Bieber Lifetime Achievement Award, honoring everything he's done in his amazing career. Congrats, Justin.
You know, I like the MTV Awards.
Really?
I kind of do.
What?
Well, you know, here's the thing. Here's the thing. They're more entertaining than the Oscars. You want to sit with the Oscars for 17 hours?
Can we
And Steve
audition
Martin?
someone to take this chair,
I
please?
picked this because I'm like, oh, Mark's gonna rip into this.
No, you know what? Look, come on.
Oh.
Why?
Do you know how?
I didn't realize people still watched MTV.
No,
first off.
no one watches them. No one watches these awards. Nobody watches the MTV Music Video Awards because MTV doesn't show music videos anymore.
Right.
It makes no sense. This is the remnants of an era when MTV was a trendsetter, and now it's old and stale. It's like the trends from yesterday.
Well, here's
and it doesn't have any cultural cachet anymore.
It gets off into a different conversation, but MTV has essentially become a gigantic, horrible abortion of a network.
Yes.
Where all they do is they chase these young kids with all these reality shows that are just horrifyingly bad. And MTV literally has no respect anymore in the business in terms of what they do. In fact, they've actually started hiring new development people. This, of course, is getting far afield from movies, but they've started hiring new development people to get them back into scripted stuff.
Yeah.
Because this low-rent reality is just horrifying. But that being said, the MTV Movie Awards, look, in a year filled with crappy, boring award shows, I can watch the MTV Movie Awards for 10 seconds and go, okay, at least it's something different.
Yeah, I would rather watch the highlights on Extra or Access Hollywood, where I get to see Sacha Baron Cohen drop down, naked into Marshall Mathers'
Donald
lap.
Glover's crotch. Is that what you want?
Go,
okay.
yeah.
All right, Chad. Is that it for the news?
That's it, guys.
Thanks,
all right, we'll see you next week, Chad.
See you later.
Chad Vader, everybody, let's do it.
Melons.
Let's get up for Chad.
Yeah. Thank you.
Chad, very appreciative this week, Chad is. All right, guys, now it's time for what, Wade? Say it.
Try this at home.
Try this at home. All right, Wade, it was a big try this at home week.
Yes, it was.
And I'll tell you why. Because we had a
celebrity try this at home.
We had
celebrity try this at home.
We had a great celebrity try this at home with a hilarious great celebrity recommending a great hilarious movie that we both love. Now, Jill Michele Melean recommended Blazing Saddles.
Yay,
now,
Blazing Saddles.
We all love Blazing Saddles. Now Jill Michele is so talented. Mad TV, does stand up. Let's actually take a look, and you'll recognize her within 2 seconds. She's great.
Do you remember last night?
I don't.
Do you remember?
I don't.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I taped it all. I taped it all.
Oh, she's biting me!
Here we go.
Chocolate News set up video kiosks all across this great land to give anyone who chooses a chance to express their holiday thanks.
I just want to give thanks to Obama for changing the world, giving us hope for change, filling our hearts with healing and kindness.
Come on, sweetie, we're late.
Giving us patience, peace of mind, room to care for our fellow man.
Sweetie, we're late.
Motherfucker! Did you see that I'm trying to say something positive here? If you pop that head in one more time, I'm gonna cut it off. Where was I? Feeling our hearts and giving love to our fellow man. Thanks.
She's not a hockey girl, buddy. She's a fake.
I will kick your ass.
Okay, she's for real. She's the real deal. Good luck to you, sir. You're gonna make beautiful children. Okay, her boot's in my spine. Someone's not respecting personal space.
Sit down already.
I'm going down. I'm mostly torso. It takes a while.
In the bathroom that whole time?
Can I ask you to please not kick my chair?
How about I kick you in the head?
Wow. She did it. She didn't even wait for an answer. You want to dance with the scarecrow? Come on! You're hurting my nipple.
It's not worth it, Kathy. Not in your first trimester.
He's right, Kathy. You got way too much to lose. All right, George, put down the cowbell.
Okay, Summer, we're rehearsing. You don't need to do that, okay? The girls look great. Harry, listen, I really want to go for like this avant-garde kind of feel. You know, break the mold in porn. So I'm thinking more of like Scorsese meets Michael Bay in Rear Window.
Hitchcock.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. Summer, so you're scared. Because you don't know whether this is speed dating or they're gonna kill you. You're scared, okay?
Scared. Got it.
Okay. Oh, how does the light look in here?
It's kind of dark.
Yeah, you might want to take the lens cap off. Do this angle, then we're gonna come in tight for Summer's close-up, and everyone gets a BJ, the fight scene happens, and then we break for lunch. Okay, let's do it. Let's go. In action! You are my hero. Can I get you to sign the standard release form? Yeah. Yeah, just don't worry about it. I hope you're not union, though, because we only pay $100. Thank you. You're so awesome. Yeah, right. Screwdriver.
Jill Michele Melean, everyone. Let's give it up. Look at that. Why, hello there.
Hello.
Welcome.
Stealing George Lopez's thunder.
Oh no, it
Nice.
was not stealing. You know, it was
Yeah.
funny. It was more of like we totally matched each other, and we had, you know, never worked with each other before. And here we are in this scene where we're going nuts and going crazy, and it's all improv. So at one point, I grabbed one of the guns, and I had it, and he was across the whole on the other side of the room, and they said to us, "Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! You don't hurt the people you love, right? You don't hurt the people you love." And at the same time, we both go, "Sometimes." Like, it was awesome. So
That's great.
Yes, Latin people. Yeah, that's how you show your love. You know.
Pretty
If
great.
you want to run them over with the car, then that means that I care about you. So that's
Good to know.
I better write that down in case ever. So when you do like a sitcom, like like Till Death, right? You're sort of walking into a situation where everybody knows each other. They've worked together every week for X number of years. I mean, what's that process like when you book some of these sitcoms?
It's awkward, you know, because of course, like you're so excited to be there and you respect them so much. And, you know, these are like, you know, great comedy icons that you're working with, but you are like the odd man out. So you have to do a great job, even at a table read, because if you screw up that line, they're gonna look at you like, why did you hire this? Like, you know, so you really gotta, you know, do your thing and just, and I learned also too is, cause, you know, going from improv so much, improving on Reno and then on Mad, we got to improv a lot too, is that in the sitcom world, you know, they were like, okay, you just stick to the script, just stick to, and it was like, ooh, okay, you know, which is so like different, but yet it's a different beast, you know, you have to play with, and it was really fun. But oh man, there was so much I wanted to, like when I kicked him in the head, and I was just like, there's so much I can say right here, but I can't, you know. So, but it was really fun though.
Because so your first love in terms of training and where your heart is more stand-up, being on stage performing, as opposed to acting.
It's
with a
two
script.
different beasts, you know. It's like the stand-up gives you that immediate gratification, you know. It's that ego booster. It's that affirmation of like, okay, this is why I'm doing this, you know, because there's so much, blah, you know, in the business. But then there's something so beautiful and so intimate about when you're doing film or television, and especially film when you have a camera so close to you, and it can pick up all those like just subtle moments that stage doesn't do. And you're able to just really escape in your characters, which I love to live vicariously through my characters. So, because, you know, when you get to beat people up and, you know, wreck a whole hotel room and stuff, I was like, you guys totally fulfilled one of my fantasies. I guess so I love it.
It seems like Mad TV would be the best of both worlds then. You have audience gratification, you have a lot of characters, but yet there's the camera and it's a little bit of stage. It seems like it sort of crosses all of those boundaries. It does cross those boundaries. It's just more of a, the difference is also too, stand-up is, it's you alone.
Yeah.
So if people don't laugh, it's your fault.
And that, for some reason, for me, makes me always a better performer. It keeps pushing the envelope. Whereas if you're in a team world, in a sketch world, you have to play the game. You know, you can't one-up each other, and you got to stick to that, you know, where this is what I'm doing as this character, serving this character's purpose. You know, if you're the character for the scene and I'm playing the straight person, I got to play the straight person. You know, even if, oh, there's a great line here. Nope, I gotta you know, respect that. So, but in stand-up, it's such a different beast, and it's so it crosses over so much because a joke might work in, let's say, Seattle, but then you go over to Kentucky and it doesn't work. So you've got to be on the road all the time to say what's universal. So when you're ready to do, you know, your specials, it's going to be just like, it's going to blow up because now you know what's funny works everywhere.
And then, but then when you were starting out, how long did it take and what was the process where you sort of discovered what your stage persona is going to be? Are you going to hold the microphone? Are you going to drift a lot? I mean, how did you sort of get into that groove of this is what I'm going to be like on stage as I do my act? Because everyone does it differently.
Yeah, it took time. You know, you really got to find your voice. And in the beginning, I hid through my characters because my world was from a sketch world. So, but I wanted that to go. I wanted that immediate with the audience. So I forced myself to do stand-up, and now I've been doing it for like 11 years. And now I've really developed my voice. And now I used to hold the mic, and now it's on a stand because I'm getting older and my back hurts. So like, I know people go, "Oh, I like it how you're like bringing the audience in now," and I'm like, "Cause it's not really that. It's my back because it's really messed up from getting old." But no, it's, yeah, you develop what works for you. Like, so many people give you advice in the beginning, you know, wrong advice. Like, I remember I was wearing like suits, like skirts and, you know, like that at the beginning when I started stand-up. And I'm like, now I'm like jeans and a t-shirt. I'm like, okay, this is me, you know, and, you know, I want to do my makeup up and be glamorous. People are like, no, you got to be weird and quirky and make your hair all crazy. And now I'm like, no, this is me. And it's great because after shows, like women, you know, across the world will come up to me and go, thank you for being you, because they can relate to that. And I mean, it makes me happy because I'm not trying to be, you know, a character like, hey guys, I'm crazy. And
one emo Phillips is enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or it's like Pee Wee Herman. Either you're a total other character, persona that people understand that, or you're completely honest with the audience. And when you're a stand-up and you're honest with the audience, talking about your life and your own, you know, your own inadequacies or what's happening, whatever, people respond to that. They're drawn to you.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, and it's a fine line between self-deprecation and then making fun of things and making fun of your life. And I don't self-deprecate at all, but I go through the ringer, you know, with things like whether it's dating or whether it's my family, you know, any of those kind of things. So when you're honest, it's so much funnier. You know, truth and comedy. Back to 101, you know?
So then growing up, your comedy influences, were there stand-ups that you were interested in or movies? Was it TV? What was your comedy influence?
It was, well, that's why I chose Blazing Saddles. That's number one reason is Melean Khan has been my icon since a little girl. She was everything, you know, beautiful, sexy, funny, I mean, confident, just amazing. I watched everything she did over and over and over again. And then, of course, Benny Hill, of course.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Wade loves the Benny Hill.
We love the Benny. We love the Benny.
You don't get it?
Oh.
I
like Benny Hill.
And you have like the most beautiful girlfriend in the world with big boobs, and you don't get Benny Hill.
So I'm not sure what that has to do with anything with my. You don't want to, not to go. Hey, Mike, you're a really good comedy writer. You said you got. Thanks. Anyway, go ahead. Thanks, appreciate it. That's great. No respect.
Benny Hill's but Benny Hill was like those. It's the universal comedy.
I wasn't. I'm not into. I mean, I don't like Three Stooges either.
He doesn't
I don't
understand.
Like
he doesn't understand.
I don't like the physical comedy. I was Monty Python. I like the wit, the dryness. You know,
well, see, I love Monty Python too.
You can like Monty Python and Benny Hill.
Yeah, you can like both.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Well, you can be crazy like this.
I met a stand-up who hates Monty Python, actually. Then I went, you need to quit comedy. I met a
stand-up. Oh, that's weird.
He's like, they're not funny. I'm like, you need to quit comedy now.
That's bizarre. Yeah, well then they don't get it yet. Are they successful? No. Exactly. So
it's mainly the female comics of that era, Madeline Kahn.
Yeah, Madeline Kahn, and then like Carol Burnett.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, Carol Burnett, Tracy Ullman. Stand-up wise, Paula Poundstone, Ellen, of course. You know, I got to, and it's so great because, like, you know, as a kid watching these incredible comics, and then have the opportunity to actually work with them and share a stage with them, is just, it's the most like euphoric, like kind of feeling, and it's justification of like, okay, I'm not crazy. You know, because I left my family and everything in Miami, and I was like, I'm going to be on SNL, and I'm going to win an Oscar. And I left not knowing anybody here. And they're like, she's crazy. Oh, my gosh, she lost her mind completely. And so when you have those things like, you know, Kevin Nealon turned to me one day and was like, Jilly, you're really funny. And I was like, oh, my gosh. You know, so those moments are, you're like, okay, I'm going to keep going. So.
And that's a tough room. You know, comics can be very vicious.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it can be an embracing family, or it can be a family feud.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's true.
Absolutely, and no one really likes to help each other in the stand-up world.
Right.
You know, it's a very lonely place. You go from on the road of like rock star, because it's like almost rock star, like how a stand-up comic is on the road. You know, people all over you, and you're so funny, and pictures and autographs and blah blah blah. And then you go to your hotel room and you're alone, and you're like, okay, this is weird. Or you could be a whore. But I choose the other. So it's either or.
What the?
Either or. Yeah, either or. I'm a little germphobe though. So.
All right, so we have three huge fans of Blazing Saddles, and more obviously in the audience here, right? Blazing Saddles. Let's do it. Now, producer Mike, do we have anybody?
We do.
Online?
We do. I believe have a person Skyping in already, right?
Yeah, Pittsburgh Pushy Lover.
Is it Pittsburgh Pushy Lover? I keep reading as PGH Pushy Lover.
It's Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh PGH Pushy Lover, which is apparently Pittsburgh Pushy Lover. Are you there?
I am.
What the? Hello, Pittsburgh Pushy Lover.
Damn, I look weird.
Never having met you, I can honestly say you look weird.
Yes. Yeah, it's abbreviated. It's Pittsburgh Pushy Lover.
So,
anyway.
So Blazing Saddles. So now you're a big fan of Blazing Saddles because fill in the blank.
Because it's freaking genius, for Christ's sake. I mean, it's one of those movies you cannot get away with anymore, which is kind of sad, but it was made in that time when there was enough racial tension that anything that they hit you with hit like a ton of bricks. And even watching it now, it still resounds like that. Movies like, you know, Blazing Saddles, anything by the Zucker brothers in that early 70s, the mid-70s time period, they're genius, but you can't do them anymore. I mean, the only person that can really get away with it anymore, I would say, would be maybe Tracy Ullman when she does kind of her tongue-in-cheek characters, but it's fucking brilliant. I mean, honestly, let's just talk about it right there. You cannot make a movie better, in my opinion, as far as a comedy, than Blazing Saddles. It's genius. I mean, you've got beautiful songs, and then Madeline Kahn. I mean, flames on the side of my face. Madeline Kahn, genius. I love. Oh Christ! Every line in that movie is quotable, and I've done it a billion times. I mean, J-Mac, unfortunately, is not there tonight, but I hung out with him Monday. He's here in Pittsburgh with me right now, visiting family. And, I mean, that's just something going back to college that we would do. It's just a brilliant film, but sadly, I don't think it's ever going to be able to be redone in that caliber again. Anything that quality. You know, movies like Funny People, like anything that, you know, the Seth Rogen movies that are trying to be done now, they try to emulate it, but it's not repeatable.
No,
I think you're absolutely. Although for a moment, I think the Farrelly brothers maybe would have had that possibility, but they didn't really develop it.
No, they were pushing the envelope there. But no, it's right. I mean, it's a Hollywood satire at the end too, which you don't expect.
Hilarious.
It just goes places and then wherever it wants.
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
If you watch the The DVD, it has now the newer version has Mel Brooks actually talking about it and how difficult it was to actually get that film out there. Studios were dropping it left and right. Like, no, you can't say that. And then one studio wanted to give him a lot of money for it, but they said you have to bleep out the word, you know, everything that makes it funny.
Exactly.
And I got to tell you, anything racist is hilarious. So,
so Pittsburgh Pushy Lover. By the way, thank you very much for calling in. Say hi to J-Mac for us.
All right, let's go. We got a couple more coming in, but meanwhile, I'll go to the message boards, which you can write on. If you can't make the show live, you can always come to our message boards. Snap the Jap. For my money, Blazing Saddles, one of the top 5 best comedies of all time. Back before Zucker and Abrams made Airplane, Naked Gun, and Hot Shots, a staple of spoof comedy, there was a granddaddy of them all, Mel Brooks. Then he goes on to talk about the pioneering combination of Gene Wilder and Clodagh Little, hasn't been touched since. And you said originally, right, it's supposed to be Richard Pryor.
Yes, Richard Pryor was uninsurable. They really couldn't, the studio would not sign off on that. Although obviously Wilder and Pryor went on to do Silver Streak and a whole bunch of other great movies. Silver Streak, by the way, I like that movie.
Very funny.
Very funny.
Good movie.
And Stuart Moncure from the message boards. It's dang near impossible to go wrong with this movie. I mean, seriously, how can you go wrong with a movie where the hero has to hold himself hostage in order to avoid being killed?
Yeah, very true. Did you? And I love that he, like, when he gets on the saddle. I don't know if you guys have seen it in a long time, but it says Gucci, which I just it's a little soft place in my heart right there for that one. So
it's sort of like that Mad. It's like that Mad Magazine humor where there's humor that's on the surface and humor that you only get once you've seen it 3 or 4 times and you're looking for other things.
It's Zucker Brothers Zaz stuff.
That's all that Zaz
all
stuff.
All
and they'll admit it. Zaz will admit it. You know, because the thing with that is that not right after Blazing Saddles, but you know, Kentucky Fried Movie was sort of that original Zaz thing that kind of got them going. You know, when that came right after the Mel Brooks stuff. So it really is a hilarious continuous line of that crazy comedy.
Back to Skype, right? Pouposterous, I believe, is on Skype with us.
That's right. How you guys doing?
Hello, Pouposterous. So what did you think of Blazing Saddles? Tell us you liked it.
I did like it. I liked it. Thank you very much, Michelle, for picking that one. I appreciate it. I can't say that I can top PG's review of it because that's how comedy isn't really my thing. But nobody does that better than Mel Brooks, for sure. He is the king of that kind of thing. I think my favorite scene was like the Simple Farmer scene where they're like together, Simple Farmer, people of the land. Common clay of the New West. That kind of comedy, I think Gene Wilder was the key to that sort of aspect of the movie, and that's sort of what I latched onto. But the Melean Khan was amazing in that role. She really put like the humor without going way over the top with it. So I like that aspect of it too. I think the show wouldn't have worked for me if Gene Wilder didn't do his thing in that.
Well, you know, Mel Brooks' humor needs a certain kind of delivery. And Melean Khan and Gene Wilder and Kenneth Mars and Terry Garr, they're the kinds of actors who can do that. But you don't find that kind of dialogue and those kinds of actors much anymore.
I think it's people like, actually, you know, when you look at it and then you listen to commentaries and things like that, and like how Mel Brooks said that Gene wasn't even right for the role, and Gene fought for that role. He was like, "No, I want to do this." He's like, "No, it's not going to work." He's like, "No, I want to." But they listened to their directors back then. Now it's like you show up to a set and it's like, "We hired you because you bring in millions of dollars to a film, so do what you do," and then they walk away. So that's why things are way over the top now, and they're not. It's so subtle. Mel Brooks' style was so subtle because they trusted him as a director. And you can see that's why Melean Khan doesn't have to be over the top or whatever, and she can sit back and just look at them and whatever. She knows, she trusts that Mel's going to get a close up of that and cover that. She doesn't need to be like bigger than life. So
very true.
Yeah.
I grew up on Carol Burnett, so sorry.
Oh,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Say Pouposterous. What are you talking about?
I was just going to say I grew up on Carol Burnett, so with Harvey Korman and Melean Khan, I was, you know, they did exactly. They brought that level of humor to the scene, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. I think if I would to pick my favorite Mel Brooks movie, it would be Spaceballs.
Oh.
Just because I think that's hilarious.
Spaceballs, yeah, right. By the way, hey, thank you, Pouposterous. And I will say that Spaceballs was the beginning of the end for Mel Brooks.
Kind of was.
Kind of was.
I don't think there was anything after Spaceball. I mean, I thought History of the World
Robin
War
Hood Men in Tights.
Like Robin Hood Men in Tights, Life Stinks. Remember Life Stinks?
Yeah, Life Stinks.
Terrible.
Yeah, it was.
We do have another. We got one in the message boards, and then we got one more Skype, and then we can move on from there. But
From Spar07 in the message boards, Blazing Saddles is fried gold.
Fried gold.
Farting Cowboys, the wonderful Harvey Korman,
Fried
asking
gold.
for all manner of muggers, burgers, shit kickers, everything, and all that. Gene Wilder and Career Defining. I also like the Frisco Kid. Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
Gene Wilder's just great in all those movies.
World's Greatest Lover.
World's Greatest Lover, yeah.
Yeah.
I love Gene Wilder. He was great.
The best.
And did I mention Madeline Kahn? Funny and oh so sexy. Classic Mel Brooks. Classic comedy. That's from Spar07. His 5th post. So he's kind of a newbie on the message board.
Yay.
Nice.
Well, welcome.
Or her first post.
We have no
Spar07. I don't know what that is. And do we have one more Skyper? We have one more Skype. I believe it's Mahi.
Oh, it's the return of Mahi.
Is it Mahi or is it me with an H?
It's supposed to be meh, but I spelled it wrong.
That's M-E-H.
Hello, meh.
And meh, or as Mahi is also
Go with the he.
Go there. He's been on our message boards and he is sorting out all the buy, rent, or burns every week.
Well, by the way, thank you for that.
That's great.
That is like that's Purple Heart's sort of work there. That's like tough going.
Yeah.
Right? You got to go through all of them, write them
If
down.
I wasn't so lazy and I can actually get to the post office, I'd send him out his DVD. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I owe you a lot of people I owe DVDs to. I gotta send out this week.
Take your time.
And Mahi, in lieu of that, tell us what you thought of Blazing Saddles.
It's absolutely. I think it's my second best Mel Brooks movie of all time.
The first
It's gotta
being?
be second best.
What's the first?
History of the World.
You know, they never made History of the World 2 with Jews in space. Remember at the end of the Jews in space in the trailer?
Skating. Hitler on Ice, I believe.
Hitler on Ice. So, oh, that's the best. All right, so what did you like about Blazing Saddles?
It was just 2 specific scenes. One is basically the recruitment and like the Mexicans getting the badges and like we don't need no stinking badges.
I was actually a little worried that, because you don't really know how comedy is going to be perceived by the next generation, whether something like Mel Brooks just wouldn't be cool anymore, maybe it's too silly, maybe comedy's gone another way, but it seems as if a younger audience still does respond to Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because there are those films that we loved when we were kids and then you go back and watch it now and you're like, what was I thinking, you know? But Mel Brooks, it's like the more and more you watch it and the older you get, you see those little things that we were talking about and you're just like, this is genius. You're like, this is ridiculous. And it's simple, though, at the same time.
It's what you were saying earlier, too. He pushed buttons that we can't push anymore. Even really successful comedies today don't go there. They kind of fit into formulas. They fit into neatly little defined boxes. And Mel just went for it. He just went head over heels, took a dive at something that was a real risk, and he pulled it off. And people admire that.
I believe that Killers is a real risk. I believe that's a risky comedy happening with Killers.
Oh.
All right, so too soon? It's always too soon.
No,
all right, thank you for Skyping in. Thank you for hitting the message boards to talk about Blazing Saddles. It was a great recommendation. No one had anything bad to say about it. Thank you very much, Jill. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Now,
thank you.
Now, before you leave, you are going to witness history being made. We are about to announce next week's Try This at Home. It's unbelievable. Nobody knows except Wade and myself and Mike and him and her and him and her and him and her.
I'm sweating. I'm sweating.
Now, unfortunately, as you know, Dennis Hopper passed away. So we figured we would choose something starring Dennis Hopper.
Oh, good.
Now, we had a lot of options. Actually, here are a couple of the options. And then we'll tell you the one that we picked. I had recommended The Trip, because The Trip was directed by Roger Corman and was written by Jack Nicholson. So I figured people probably haven't seen that. Trip could be interesting, kind of fun. Wade, you had a recommendation of a Dennis Hopper film.
There were a bunch I threw out. I don't even remember what they were.
And the problem
they were all obscure. Well, none of them
hard to find.
They're not really accessible.
Well, no, The Trip is on Netflix. The Trip is available on Netflix. But in the end, we did not go with we didn't go with Easy Rider. We didn't go with The Trip. We went with.
Should I say it?
You should say it.
Hoosiers.
Oh, that's a good one.
Hoosiers.
Because as you know, it is the NBA Finals going on right now. So it is a good time for Hoosiers. Dennis Hopper just passed away. Dennis Hopper, of course, was nominated for an Academy Award for his role as the. I heard a funny story because in the film he plays sort of that. He plays the old timer in the town who's become a drunk, whatever. There's a scene in Hoosiers, which is from 1986. There's a scene in Hoosiers where he has to, he's drunk and he has to sort of barge onto the court,
Sure.
right? He said that in order to prepare for that scene, and you'll probably appreciate this, in order to prepare for that scene, he asked the director for a 10-second count before he actually had to step on to the court. And when he got the 10-second count, he started turning himself around and 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 around for 10 seconds. And then when he had to actually go on, he was able to sort of stumble onto the court because he was so dizzy.
That's perfect.
Wow.
That's
Brilliant.
great. And I've heard that time and time again from directors. They say, when you want a drunk, don't hire a real drunk. You hire an actor that can play it.
True.
So
Yeah, it's true.
Because they don't show up, or
yeah, or they just don't. Their lines are all over. And
Foster
yeah.
Brooks was not a drunk, and Dean Martin. All of those shows, it was always spritzer water that he was drinking.
Now Ed McMahon, though, on one of the famous clips you can see on YouTube, I think was actually drunk. That Johnny.
Yeah,
called
but
him.
No, that was
He just
no,
was.
that was Orson Welles doing the one of the wine commercials.
Yeah.
Orson Welles later in his life did a bunch of low-rent wine commercials, and he would get drunk.
Yeah.
Oh
He would get
my
drunk for those.
gosh.
In fact, if you go on YouTube, there's actually footage, outtakes of him just take after take of him getting slowly drunker. I swear to God, it's fantastic.
And Benny Hill spoofed those commercials with Orson Buggy. And it's funny, Mike.
It's funny, Mike.
It's funny.
I'm just going to
sorry,
send you
what?
clips every day.
I'm sorry, no, please don't. Please don't.
Anyway, so Hoosiers, by the way, another piece of Hoosiers trivia, which I don't think Wade knew. Ladies and gentlemen, may I just say, Gene Hackman, of course, my all-time favorite actor, Gene Hackman, I said it right here on the show. Gene Hackman, not the original, originally cast for that part.
Gene Wilder?
No, Gene Hackman.
Oh. No, I'm saying, was Gene Wilder the original?
Jack
No? Okay.
Nicholson was hired. However, Nicholson really wanted to do it, but he knew that the scheduling was tight. They had to get the film done, and Nicholson said, look, I want to do your movie. I know scheduling is tight. I can't do it now, but I want to do it. If you're willing to wait a year, I'll do it for you, but if you get somebody else that you'd rather have, I will respectfully bow out. And in the end, they wound up getting
If
Gene
it had
Hackman.
been,
nice career
if it
to
had been
have.
Lakers and not Hoosiers, Nicholson would have done it.
That's true. All right,
Just
so
saying.
He's doing it.
Yeah, yes, he
And
is.
then
Every home game.
Before we go, I'm going to say we're going to do Buy, Rent, or Burn next. You can stay on, Jill Michele, if you want, or we can quickly get you out. People recommend DVDs, and they tell whether you should buy, rent, or burn them. You can give your 2 cents if you want to stay in.
Okay, sure.
All
I'll
right.
stay in.
All right.
Buy, rent, or burn!
Celebrity, celebrity buy, rent, or burn.
All right, so next Thursday at 8 p.m. Pacific time, you're going to Skype in, you're going to hit the message board, you're going to hit the chat room. You can let us know what you think of Hoosiers from 1986, starring Gene Hackman and the late Dennis Hopper. There you go. All right, guys, so there's celebrity try this at home. Now it's time for Buy, Rent, or Burn. Do it. All right, producer Mike, let's go. Come on, we're ready.
All right. Oh. These are all from message board. And I know we have a lot of Buy, Rent, or Burns on message boards, and I think we are still talking about doing a special Buy, Rent, or Burn episode to catch up with all the...
On a very special Punky Brewster.
Very special. Where Mark touched me. From Lars wants to know about the Gladiator Blu-ray.
As in the...
Gladiator?
Well, the Oscar-winning
I believe
Gladiator?
so, yes.
Yeah,
Yep, Blu-ray.
okay.
That's a great
There's
also
also, there's another Gladiator with Cuba Gooding Jr., and it's not on Blu-ray.
That's a great looking Blu-ray. I mean,
By the way, it's his birthday, so please read. Although I think this is from last week, so happy last week birthday.
Happy
Lars?
last week birthday.
Either that or we're very early for your next birthday.
Yeah.
Gladiator's it's a really sweet Blu-ray. DreamWorks does a very, very good job with their Blu-rays.
Yeah.
So buy it.
Buy it. That's beautiful to watch.
All buy it.
Wait, what did the celebrity try this at home say?
I said buy it.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Making sure.
definitely.
I wanted to be
Triple
represented.
buy.
Are you kidding? Joaquin Phoenix, glistening thighs, Blu-ray.
From Gryfo, who's actually in Meath, Ireland.
Oh.
Lovely
Primer.
Ireland. That's an interesting movie.
It's an interesting. I'd say.
Rent it.
I'm going to say buy Primer.
What the?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because Primer is one of those famous ultra low budget indies. That movie was made for like $10,000 or something like that.
Correct.
And Mark, you were saying?
I was saying Rent It. It's a good movie. Rent It.
I'm saying if you want to learn how to make a movie for $10,000 in a garage, Primer is your primer. So watch it over and over and over.
Primer and Following. Primer and Following. Christopher
Yes.
Nolan's Following. 2 ultra low budget films.
Okay.
That were very, very good.
From message boards once again, Rilman, The Time Traveler's Wife.
Oh, wow.
What
do we have below
say
Burn?
that the guy who does my hair also does Eric Bana's hair?
Do we still have Furry Vengeance?
Also does Eric Bana's hair.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, Furry Vengeance.
Wait a second. in.
Wow.
The female demographic has not weighed in.
Oh, please.
Have you? Okay, is that Furry Vengeance is the worst you can give it because that's the worst movie of the year so far.
Oh, that is just awful. It is. I mean, even the previews alone, you have to turn off.
So you're giving it a Furry Vengeance?
Oh. Yes, Furry
All
Vengeance.
right.
Yes.
Wait,
Do you have his crotch burning up? Is that what it is?
And Mark, what is your take?
Oh, furry, that thing.
Oh,
let's
it's
do it.
a hat trick.
It's a turkey.
Furry hat
turkey,
trick.
Furry Vengeance.
Yes.
Okay, that was Time Traveler's Wife. And now we move on to Sydney, Australia. And Jester94 asks about The Fountain.
No, that's a failed movie. It really is. You like that movie?
I'm gonna say Rent.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna say Rent.
You know what? I'll say Rented just on the strength of the ambition.
That's what I would say.
However, it's not a good movie. And you know what? That's a famous boondoggle for Aronofsky.
I'd say Rented because it with another half hour or 40 minutes worth of plot and proper development and fleshed out concepts, it could have been a really cool kind of quasi-Kubrick knockoff.
Well, because you do when you're watching the film, you do get the sense that there was more to it that is somewhere on the cutting room floor, in some hard drive somewhere.
It's a nice score too. It's a really cool score.
It looks great. It sounds great. It just feels like a compromise movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. You're only gonna watch it once.
All right. From Senor Tingles. Although there's not an Enye, so it's actually Senor Tingles, but I think that's just because he couldn't have one. Good margaritas at Senor Tingles. The Man Who Fell to Earth. Blu-ray Criterion release.
Oh, you got to buy that. Do it. Come on, buy it. Blu-ray, Man Who Fell to Earth, David Bowie. Great. Love it.
Look, he's like, yeah.
Wayne seems a little different. Look at your camera, Wayne.
I'm just saying, like when you say Criterion Blu-ray, you don't even need to give me the title. Criterion Blu-ray, buy.
See, you thought it was going to Furry Vengeance that thing.
No, I didn't think it was going to
Furry. One of Nicholas Roeg's handful of really accessible films.
All right. Danny Houston rules! Exclamation point. Cockfighter.
Cockfighters with
Nicholson didn't didn't Nicholson have a hand in writing that?
Cockfighter?
Are we
No,
talking
that
about
was
porn? What's going on here?
Cockfighter is
Where am I?
what's his
Is that
name?
what you know?
Monty Hellman. It's an old Monty Hellman film.
Cockfighter is a Monty Hellman film about cockfighting.
Either
it's not a porn. I know where you're going.
I like
Jill Michele Melean.
No,
it's not a porn. It's about cockfighting.
It's an old Monty Hellman's Monty Hellman's one of the great exploitation art directors. You know, his movies are kind of they were exploitation films, but they somehow have found a place as respected cinema. Nicholson may have had a hand in Cockfighter because Hellman made a number of films around that time that he was messing around with Nicholson on, and I think Nicholson may have had a hand in it. Anyway, I'd say at least Rent.
Well, come on, it's called Cockfighter. You got to
rent that. I'll rent it just for that.
All right, there you go. From New Fate 26, The Great Yokai War.
That weird animated thing?
No, that's the Meatgate. Is that
It's also known as Yokai Dasenso in 200005.
Is that the...
now they're just trying to stuff. Wait.
Is that the Takashi
Yes,
Miike?
exactly. Yep, very good.
Look at me.
Yeah, there
Takashi
you go.
Miike, it is a... it's not one of, here's the thing with Takashi Miike. He is incredibly prolific, which means that when he scores, like Audition, he scores. But he does so many films that he cranks out turkey after turkey, and then he scores.
Miike makes like 27 movies a year. I've interviewed Miike. Actually, if you get the DVD for Gozu, one of my interviews is on the DVD, and Andy Klein and I do the commentary, and we don't know what the hell the movie's about.
So the question is it a buy, rent, or burn?
No,
if you're a Miike fan.
Look, if it's if you're a Miike fan, I don't rent. Why not?
That's a Brent, a burn with a rent.
Yeah, it's a rent. We don't have a Brent.
You don't have a Brent?
No.
Corey, get on that.
Okay, two more. Broby wants to know about The Godfather, Part 3.
Well, if you have 1 and 2, then buy the third one.
So
you almost have to rent it just so you know the jokes that people make about, oh my God, Godfather.
Right. I'm good. Here's why I'll say buy it. Because Sofia Coppola was so bad that it made her want to be a director, and she wound up directing Lost in Translation, which you should buy.
Concur.
And Virgin Suicides.
Yes, good film.
That's true. That's also true. So
Concur.
I'm not sure that was a serious buy,
Okay.
but it was
Well,
a
you were
buy
saying, yeah.
It was a buy from the heart.
I think we got you. Last one. Prague 5000, from Norwich, UK. Weird. It's very international.
I like that.
The original Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
You gotta
Bye.
Buy it.
Bye.
Bye.
You know what? It's not the original Dawn of the Dead that I'm worried about. It's the 75, the Day of the Dead, the Sunset of the Dead, the Sunrise of the Dead, the Afternoon of the Dead, the High Tea of the Dead. All these deads. It just stop it. Do something else.
They're all zombies.
You know? But the original is fantastic. I'd buy that.
Dawn of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead are the two that you really need to kind of hang with. Those two.
And once you're done with those, Shaun of the Dead, you can go for that one.
Yeah.
And 28 Days Later.
Oh, 28 Days
And
Later.
Zombieland, by the way. That's a good one, too.
That is it.
So there you go. That
Right.
was not only Buy, Rent, or Burn, that was Celebrity Buy, Rent, or Burn. Fantastic.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Jill, Michele, Melean, thank you very,
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank
You're
you.
absolutely
Thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I just get up?
You can stay there.
Is-
You
oh,
can stay there because all we're going to do
We're
right
wrapping up
now
Okay.
is say goodbye.
I was gonna thank. Oh, wait, before we say goodbye.
I can't
Wait,
say
are we rolling
goodbye.
credits yet? Okay, good. Well, J-Mac was gone, so Emily filled in beautifully.
Emily, filling in beautifully.
Again, thanks to New Tech for everything, for helping us out and all this. New Tech TriCaster, without it, we couldn't do anything, really. And thanks to the crew, Josh and Corey. Elaine and Travis, who are here as always. Adam, who's joined up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's
Can
it.
I
That's all I
say
gotta say.
goodbye now?
Yes,
Mike.
now you can say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.